biting wind, sharp with the scent of distant conflict, scraped against the ancient stones in the rugged mountains of Persia in the mid-13th century, carrying the ominous, rhythmic thud of catapults and the cries of river birds circling wide, indifferent brown waters. It was here, amidst this stark, timeless landscape, that a new, formidable Mongol army meticulously gathered its immense strength under the command of Hülegü, brother of the mighty Great Khan Möngke, bearing a mandate of unprecedented scope and ambition to utterly break the legendary mountain fortresses of the Nizari Ismailis, to humble the once impregnable city of Baghdad, and to relentlessly push the nascent empire's formidable shadow westward, all the way to the fertile plains of Syria and the distant sun-baked sands of Egypt. This was no mere raiding party of agile horsemen, but a truly colossal host, thick with an international contingent of highly skilled siege engineers meticulously drawn from China and Persia, their carts groaning under the immense weight of sophisticated traction and counterweight trebuchets, accompanied by experienced sappers who possessed the arcane knowledge of how to dig treacherous tunnels beneath formidable walls, and bolstered by a formidable array of regional allies, prominent Armenian princes, staunch Georgian contingents, and various other local powers who, discerning the shifting political winds from the east, shrewdly saw a distinct advantage in riding alongside the formidable conqueror. While the Mongols had previously swept across Eurasia like an unstoppable storm, their methods for this monumental campaign now turned meticulously precise and strategic. They painstakingly surveyed treacherous mountain ridges, painstakingly cut new roads where none had ever existed through unforgiving terrain, and strategically planted vital supply depots up the steep, perilous approaches to these seemingly impregnable, eagle nest fortresses. Western travelers, often with a mix of fear and fascination, had long called the defenders the assassins, the Nizari Ismailis, a sect whose adherents for generations had defiantly held their citadels high in the crags of Alamut and other strongholds, projecting widespread fear across the critical caravan routes with their infamous covert assassinations in the dark. Yet Hülegü, with a cold, calculating resolve, answered their terror not with counter-terror, but with an unparalleled logistical masterpiece, systematically clearing arduous valleys, constructing elaborate ladders of meticulously planned depots and purpose-built roads, and bringing immense siege engines up to positions where no army in history had ever dared to venture. Diz, one of their most formidable strongholds, was the first to visibly crack under the relentless, pulverizing bombardment. Its desperate imam ultimately forced to seek terms of surrender, and soon after, other fortresses inexorably followed suit. At Alamut, the legendary mythical seat of the Nizari Ismaili sect, the relentless trebuchets beat against its ancient, unyielding stone walls until inevitably the flags of surrender sorrowfully rose. While some invaluable libraries and treasuries tragically fell to the destructive flames and widespread looting during the chaotic aftermath, a significant portion was remarkably saved, for the pragmatic Mongols swiftly pressed numerous captured scholars into diligent service, ordering them to meticulously sort what was deemed useful, to carefully catalog invaluable manuscripts, and to carry forward this hard-won knowledge into the burgeoning administrative machine of their expanding empire. Where fear had once effectively closed 1,000 vital roads and strangled commerce, the dramatic fall of these once feared fortresses triumphantly opened them again, and caravans laden with goods and hope began to move with unprecedented freedom and security under the protective banners of the Mongol Pax Mongolica. From the now conquered mountains, the vast Mongol army pivoted and inexorably turned its attention to the sprawling river plains of Mesopotamia, where a powerful, enduring symbol of Islamic civilization patiently awaited its fate: Baghdad, the venerable seat of the Abbasid Caliphate. Though the city's military might had significantly dulled over centuries of complacency, its name still carried immense historical and spiritual weight across the Islamic world, and Hülegü, with his characteristic strategic foresight, understood implicitly that such potent symbols, if left unbroken and defiant, could readily inspire widespread resistance and future rebellion. His forces meticulously approached the sprawling city along both banks of the mighty Tigris River, quickly lashing together numerous pontoon bridges across strategic channels to ensure seamless troop movement, stretching elaborate siege lines to completely encircle the city, and raising massive dikes to deliberately choke the city's vital watermills and floodgates, effectively turning the very lifeblood of Baghdad's agricultural and economic existence against it. Inside the opulent but now panicked caliphal court, heated arguments raged between factions advocating for resistance and those urging surrender, while desperate emissaries were repeatedly sent out, only to return with impossible terms from the implacable Mongols. But the inexorable Mongol ring only tightened with each passing day. In February 1258, Baghdad tragically fell, its formidable citadel quickly yielded, and its caliph, al-Mustasim, was captured and summarily executed, marking the symbolic end of the Abbasid Golden Age. Although the subsequent sack of the city was undeniably heavy and inflicted immense suffering, the historical narration frequently lingers not on the graphic gore, but on the profound epical meaning of the event. The city that had, for centuries, called itself eternal and the undisputed center of Islamic civilization was devastatingly toppled, its intricately drawn maps now in Mongol hands, the smoke from its burning libraries rising to the heavens, and its broken, battered gates telling a harrowing story of conquest and transformation. From the symbolically shattered city of Baghdad, the Mongol momentum rolled inexorably westward, deep into the heart of Syria. The strategic city of Aleppo fell under a similarly devastating bombardment, while Damascus, learning from Baghdad's tragic fate, wisely bent its neck in peaceful submission to avoid a similar catastrophe. Yet even this seemingly unstoppable storm had its inherent limits, and far to the south, beyond the immediate reach of Mongol cavalry, lay the rich lands of Egypt, where the formidable Mamluks, slave soldiers hardened into an elite military caste and elevated into powerful rulers, watched with grim determination from across the vast, unforgiving desert. They understood that they could not simply outrun the Mongol storm, but they could strategically choose the ground upon which to bravely meet it. Then, like a sudden, cataclysmic bolt of lightning striking from the distant east, news of monumental significance arrived. The Great Khan Möngke was Hülegü, bound by the sacred ties of blood and the intricate demands of Mongol politics, was compelled to withdraw a substantial portion of his vast army to return eastward and attend the crucial succession process, leaving his capable but now dangerously isolated general, Kitbuka, to hold the newly conquered Syrian territories with a significantly reduced force. Concurrently, Berke Khan of the Golden Horde, a devout Muslim, seethed with righteous anger and hardening opposition at the sacrilegious sack of Baghdad, intensifying existing quarrels along the Caucasus frontier and further straining the already fragile unity of the vast Mongol Empire. Into that precarious pause, a window of extraordinary opportunity suddenly opened, and the brilliant Mamluk commander, Baybars, was precisely the man to seize it with audacious decisiveness. In the Jezreel Valley, near a vital spring historically known as Ain Jalut, Goliath's Spring, the Mamluks meticulously prepared their counterstroke. The valley's numerous wadis and low rolling hills offered perfect cover for a strategically hidden reserve force, and shrewdly narrowed the Mongols' traditional maneuver room, negating their cavalry advantages. Sultan Qutuz held his main body of troops in check, while Baybars boldly led forward screens of Mamluk cavalry, skirmishing, nibbling at the Mongol vanguard, and then expertly retreating in a feigned flight, a classic step tactic that the Mongols themselves had employed countless times. Kitbuka's vanguard, driven by hunger after months of stretched supply lines and eager for a decisive victory, pressed forward aggressively into the valley, only to be suddenly slammed by the Mamluk reserve bursting unexpectedly from hidden cover, effectively closing the strategic door of the valley on them. The Mamluk horses were fresh, their supply lines remarkably short. The Mongol mounts, conversely, were tired and depleted from their long campaigns. Kitbuka fought with legendary bravery to the very end, but numbers confined space, and momentum had irrevocably deserted him. The Mongol vanguard buckled, the ensuing rout was chased ferociously toward Basin, and on the bloody field, Sultan Qutuz is famously said to have torn off his helmet in exultation and cried out for the final charge, his triumphant soldiers surging forward with renewed ferocity. The once unstoppable Mongol storm had met a resilient, tactical wall that actively moved and fought back. The reasons for the Mamluk victory at Ain Jalut were multifaceted and strategically brilliant. The ground they meticulously chose significantly favored them, providing essential cover for hidden reserves and effectively choking the open field maneuverability that was critical to steppe warfare. Their horses were fresh and well-fed, their supply lines meticulously managed and close, a stark contrast to the weary Mongol mounts and stretched provisions. Their disciplined army allowed them to execute a perilous feigned retreat without collapse, turning a hallmark Mongol tactic against its masters. Their enemies were significantly fewer in number, severely reduced by Hülegü's strategic withdrawal for the succession Kurultai, and their command was unified under a single, decisive sultan, unlike the geographically divided and politically distracted empire they faced. The result of this epical battle was not the utter destruction of Mongol power, but its definitive bounding and limitation. The Ilkhanate, having suffered a significant check, stabilized its dominion in Iran and Iraq, while Syria was decisively reset under firm Mamluk control. And between these two powerful entities, a new, hardened frontier emerged, marked by a constant interplay of fortified garrisons, raiding skirmishes, and periodically negotiated truces. In Moraga, atop a strategically chosen hill, a magnificent observatory rose where brilliant scholars like Nasr al-Din al-Tusi, under generous Mongol patronage, meticulously charted the heavens, making groundbreaking astronomical advancements that would influence centuries of future science. Roads remained demonstrably safer than before, bustling with activity as couriers carried Pisa tablets, granting protected passage to an ever-growing stream of merchants, and the vast reservoir of knowledge harvested from the initial conquests began to profoundly fuel and refine the mechanisms of Mongol governance. And in the quieter, often overlooked spaces beyond the grand, bloody sweep of battle, countless other, more intimate stories of resilience and continuity unfolded. A diligent mason in Aleppo, meticulously patching a breach freshly torn into a city wall, a scholarly scribe in Baghdad painstakingly salvaging a smoke-stained manuscript from the smoldering ruins of a library and copying it by the flickering lamplight, a skilled Mamluk farrier in Cairo expertly shoeing a powerful charger for yet another impending campaign, each anonymous figure silently carrying the immense weight of history as surely as the most powerful kings and khans. Empires may majestically write their grand laws in their magnificent capitals, but it is often the quiet, unassuming valleys like Ain Jalut that write the indelible turning points of history. The western front of Mongol expansion had been decisively hardened, but the southern horizon beckoned with new challenges. To truly complete their dominion, the Mongols would next have to break the formidable twin fortresses of Xiangyang and Fancheng, teeth of stone biting across the Han River, and then, most crucially, they would have to master a domain utterly alien to their steppe origins, the unpredictable and vast expanse of the sea, signaling that the grand, unfolding story was far from over, and the Mongol storm, though checked in the west, would inevitably roll east again with renewed purpose and ambition.
Please subscribe and look for more documentaries at Swords and Shadows.